Hello everyone, welcome back to another guitar lesson. Today I'm going to show you a couple tips and tricks to spice up and embellish a simple R&B song. Now, first two things, grab yourself a cup of tea, because it is the liquid of life, and two, iron your shirt. I didn't have time to iron my shirt, and I don't own an iron, so I'm going to go buy one after this. Anyways, let's get into it. Let's take a simple chord progression. We're going to look at D minor 7 to E minor 7 to F major 7. Right, and let's say that's our chord progression, right? And it sounds great, right? We're at the jam, we're on the gig, and it sounds fine. It sounds fine. It doesn't sound great, right? How can we make a very simple, kind of basic sounding idea? How do we expand on it, right? Whenever we go to these shows and we see these guitar players playing, they're doing the same simple chords, but they're playing all these extra things. First thing I want to look at is utilizing hammer-ons and pull-offs to make these a little bit more exciting. Now we have our traditional kind of R&B guitar chord riffs, if you will, you know, such as that whole thing, which we'll look at too, just to kind of nail that down, because this is going to be more or less the fundamental idea here is please subscribe, it really helps me out. Using our pinky or other fingers to use hammer-ons and pull-offs to just make these chords sound a little bit more exciting, right? We want to get things moving. So first thing we can always do is we can leave the chord as is, and then I always say, what free fingers do I have, if any? And here my pinky is just completely free. It's just hanging out, right? So let's put this thing to work, right? So all we're doing here is we're hammering on that top string, hammer on and pull off. Same thing on the B string, same thing on the G string. And all I'm doing here is I'm hammering on that high E string from the 5th fret, because that's where my bar is, all the way up to the 8th fret. Same thing on the B. And then on the G string, I'm doing the 7th fret. Now, the way that you can really make this feel good, because it's one thing to play this stuff, and it's one thing to make it feel good, right? So Dr. Feelgood lives in here with the secret sauce of not attacking every single string every single time you do a hammer-on and pull-off. Example A. If I want to play, right, that's the ultimate vibe, versus if I pick every single time I'm strumming the whole chord, or even just individually picking each note, it's not going to have that same sauce, right? So the sauce exists here, watch. We play. Now I'm going to do those hammer-ons and pull-offs without attacking the strings again. So what's really happening here is you're getting the effect of all these hammer-ons and pull-offs. So in the traditional sense, the only real hammer-on and pull-off is happening on that high E string, because the ones that follow on the B and G are kind of what I call a non-attack hammer-on, right? I'm not coming from had just strummed the string. I am just simply hammering on, pulling off, hammering on, pulling off. And this is a muscle that you'll develop. Don't worry about how loud it is. It's not going to be as loud as that first one. But that's where the magic is. That's where the sauce is. We introduce dynamics into this idea. Because if I hit, there's no dynamic there. It's just going blah, 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 blah. Here we're going blah, 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 blah. Like woo. We're wooing them in, right? So if you have a trem bar, a whammy, use that shit. Right, sounds great. That is the first trick. Now beyond that, even simpler ideas without using our pinky, if I just have the chord here, a lot of the times I'll just hammer on the chord shape from the bar. So I'll say, cool, here's my bar and here's my important chord information. So I'll start by strumming just the bar and hammering on that chord, right? And again, the way we attack these chords, if you're enjoying this guitar lesson, check out my website, thedonutdoctormusic.com, home to all of my guitar lessons, over 500 and counting, including full-length masterclasses, handouts, homework assignments, monthly live streams, so much more. I'll see you there. Link is below. Between the right and left hand is where the magic happens, right? If I just go, that's fine, it's still hip, but what if I went arpeggiated through it? What if I did that same idea, just strumming again? Right, all I'm doing with my right hand here is just going right through those 5 notes, but my left hand is hammering on. What if I did that idea now, that hammer-on idea, with picking through and introduce the pinky at the end? right? So you can see we can start really stacking on top of this idea, using hammer-ons, using pull-offs. What if I just stood there on that chord like that? Right, so many ideas here. Now, important note, don't overdo it with this, right? If you're on every single chord of the song and you're going, it's too much, right? You wanna use this like a spice. Like you're not gonna put, you know, your hot sauce on, douse the whole dish in hot sauce, right? Hot sauce is good a little bit on certain bites. Maybe you don't want hot sauce on every bite, right? You just gotta be tasteful about it. So that's the first idea. Hammer-ons and pull-offs using all fingers, maybe just the notes from the chord, maybe adding in our pinky to add in some extra chord tones there. Now, idea number 2, sliding chords. So check this out, right? I'm going from D minor 7 to E minor 7. I could play D minor 7, pack up camp, go all the way to E minor 7, play E minor 7, right? Or play D minor 7, slide up to that E minor. Now, don't forget you can utilize different speeds and dynamics here, right? I could go very slow, so you kind of hear that in-between chord, right? Or the more traditional sound is just pretty quick, so you really just get to that E minor with this nice little gliss underneath it. Now, you might say, oh, can I only use this if I'm going between 2 chords of the same type? Like here's D minor to E minor, right? What if I wanted to use that on that major 7 chord we have? That last chord in the progression we said is F major 7. You can absolutely use it. And here's the fun part with the sliding idea. You can start as far away as you want. You can slide as much as you want into that chord as long as you land on it, right? I could start, again, maybe I'm going to F major 7. Maybe I'll just blindly say I'm gonna start around here and slide up to it, right? You'll see that the lower I start, this is gonna be very exaggerated, right? It gives you a much different effect than if I'm just 1 or 2 frets below, right? So you don't have to think of it necessarily as like, cool, I'm gonna play this chord and slide up to it. It's more just like an effect. It's like going, right? Where does the even start? Doesn't really make sense, right? Because it's just a feeling. So again, we just want that feeling. Now, combining these 2 ideas, right? We looked at hammer-ons and pull-offs. We looked at slides, right? How can we combine these to make a really tasteful approach to spicing up a simple chord progression, right? So our original progression, we had D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7. Sounds great. Let's introduce those hammer-ons maybe, just to embellish. Right, all I'm doing here, hammering on that pinky, right? Here we go again. Sounding better already, right? What if I introduce some slides now? Right, so you can see how we can take the simplest idea and now we can take it from simple to sexy, right? Just using slides and hammer-ons, right? 2 very, very familiar and very comfortable techniques that we've probably already used a lot in our soloing. Maybe we've used it in our rhythm playing, but we just haven't thought of combining those 2 simple ideas to make something really special, right? Now, one last thing you can do is try utilizing arpeggios in between your chord progressions to make some fun sounding fills, right? Because a lot of R&B guitar is that balance between rhythm and kind of little lead lines in between something sexy and then back to the chords, right? So I could do something like this. I could say, okay, well, you know, D minor 7, E minor 7, F, and then we have this little space here. So what if on that space, I just went up an F major 7 arpeggio? Right, so now I have... Right, So arpeggios are a great place to start when you are trying to kind of expand a little bit melodically on some ideas, just to get everything feeling a little bit more glued together, right? Because there's nothing wrong with just hanging out on that F major 7, right? But it's sometimes fun to introduce a little line in between just to give it a little lift, especially if you're playing with a full band. If everyone's playing rhythm at the same time, the piano player, the bass players, you know what I mean? It can get a lot. So sometimes I'll step out of the heavy chord sound and just introduce some line. And really just base it off of our simple arpeggios. So tons and tons of great ideas here. Obviously, these are all just little seedlings I'm giving you. I want you to water them. I want you to plant them. I want you to grow a whole freaking mango tree and then harvest your fruit and eat it. And what I mean by that is practice this stuff. Practice it, explore it, right? The more you can practice this kind of in context, whatever song you're working on, take these ideas and apply them to that. Even if it's a completely different chord progression, even if it's a completely different key, right? I'm not here to show you, oh, when you have a D minor 7 to E minor 7 to F major 7, this is what you can do. What I'm offering you here is, here's a chord progression as an example, but here are these cool, fun ideas and techniques that you can apply anywhere in your playing. It doesn't even have to be R&B guitar, for example, right? You could use this on a blues, you could use this on a funk song, you could use this maybe on a classical piece somehow, right? Like, that's the fun and joy of music, is like taking an idea and then exploring and expanding on it throughout different applications, throughout different styles, throughout different circumstances. So get as crazy as you can with it. Again, at the end of the day, we're fucking playing guitar. It's not that serious. We're supposed to be having fun. So make sure you're having fun, because that's what it's all about. If you enjoyed this guitar lesson, please head over to my website, thedonutdoctormusic.com, which you will find all of my guitar lessons, over 500 of them, and counting. I'm always adding more. We have full-length masterclasses. We have monthly live streams, which we do on Zoom, kind of Q&A style. Like, it's like being in a classroom, all of us hanging out, talking about guitar. So many other great perks too. Please go check it out. Also, if you're looking for a good practice companion, check out my Guitar Tab manuscript notebook. It's also great. You can get it on Amazon, which is kind of cool. It's my first publication ever. Super stoked about it. And thanks so much for being here. If you made it through the end of the video, comment, let me know. Be like, I made it to the end. I'm still here. I can't believe I'm still here watching this video. This 10 minutes of my life I'll never get back, just having you talk to me about guitar. Anyways, love you. Thanks for your support. Like and subscribe. It really does help me out. And see you all next time. Mwah.